Welcome back to Macro Day here at Scriptcase by Jamie. And of course you know it by now, I am Jamie, your guide through the intricate world as we know it of Scriptcase macros. And today we are diving into the SC disabled record macro. A tool so precise it can lock down fields in your multi-record forms with the finesse of a Swiss watchmaker. So let's explore how this macro can bring order and control your applications. And here we are with another macro day, and you may notice I still have the SC field disabled macro from last week up on my screen, and that is of course because this macro is very similar. So let me come back here to our form application, or into Scriptcase should I say, and we have here our blank macro day application. So let me just go ahead and update this with record because that is all it requires, and then with that we have the same macro as we had last week with a slight adjustment. It has the same parameters, it has the same objective, so you may know what the function or purpose of this macro is. And of course it is to disable specific fields within individual records within the multi-record form. So last week we checked out the single record form right here. We added the SC field disabled macro. If you missed that, be sure to check out last week's macro video. Otherwise, let's continue. And with that, it is of course ideal for controlling your field editability. Yes, that word is a little difficult for me to chew. Editability on a per record basis, ensuring that your data integrity as well as your user interactions are pretty damn tailored, and that is of course pretty important across many of your applications. So business intelligence. Okay, so let's have a look. We have then here our macro, the SC field disabled record, which we have right here. We have our field name, we have our true or false parameters that are available, and then with that we have the I or the U operations or parameters should I say. So let me add those in here. I did not add those last week. So let me say I or U, and then that would be depending on, so the I then allows insert and the U allows update. And then with that, you can then use those macros also with the parameters within your form applications. So as I mentioned, this is for the multi-form, and this form we checked out last week is the single form that is right there. Now, if we then change this form within the form orientation, we have here then maybe the multi-records or editable grid, as well as the editable grid view. Now, depending on the one that you select, you will then be able to have multiple records. Multiple records. Okay, so choosing the multiple records, we can then go ahead and run that form, and we still have here our value on our SC field disabled on every single value field. And in some cases, we may not want that because we don't want it on every single field. So if I then remove that, save, and then run our form again, we have our form here with then our multiple values. So now if I come back here to my form, and then we have here on load record, and now I can then apply this same macro to each of these fields that I want. So let's come back here. We actually have this macro here, so we can copy that here on load record, and then we just need to adjust that here, SC field disabled underscore record, and then we can apply that then value release true, and then maybe we can say that if the value, so if we say if the value may be higher than X, then we will have the value release equals true. So let me just go value release and clean that up a little bit. Okay, so now here our if statement, we want to then say our value. So if our value release, let's copy that here. Our value release equals, well, is more than say 100, then we will disable the record. And then just like that, we have all of these records disabled. Now, if I say it is, well, if it's more than 500, or say more than 400, and then we will have a few of those maybe enabled now, as we have, because we have some values there between 3 and 600 there. So depending on the value now, and just like that, we can then dynamically adjust the field editability as well as functionality just by using the SC field record macro. So imagine a scenario where certain fields should remain uneditable for specific records based on their status or other criteria that you may have defined. Now, highlight of course here the more than or less than X amount. So using the SC field disable record, you can dynamically control field editability at the record level within your forms. Now note, of course, multi-forms as we have here within the form orientation, multiple records, editable grid. Note that the editable grid view may open a single form, and in that case, it would be on load. So with that, we enhance our data security as well as our user experience. And as always, you guessed it, that is a wrap on how to use the SC field disabled macro, helping you to manage your field editability dynamically within multi-record forms. It is a very precise tool that you can use to enforce your data integrity and of course to guide your user interactions pretty effectively. Now, if you found this tutorial helpful, you know what to do with all those buttons. But of course, please do comment below with your own experience in using this macro. Share your stories on how you've controlled the field editability in your projects and mastered the control. And of course, stay tuned for more Scriptcase macro explorations right here on Scriptcase by Jamie.